All right, today we're going to break down a really clear, actionable roadmap to financial freedom. This whole plan comes from years of real-world experience, so if you've ever felt like you're just spinning your wheels and not getting ahead, this explainer is for you.
And look, that feeling is so common, right? That sense of running in place, where you're working hard but your bank account just never seems to reflect it. The guy who created this plan, he started out as a carpenter, making just $2 an hour. He felt completely trapped, and he knew if he didn't figure something out, he'd end up just like his coworkers, completely soulless. But he developed a plan that changed absolutely everything for him.
So this brings up the big question that I think is on everyone's mind, especially with the way the world is right now. Is financial freedom, is that even possible anymore? It's so easy to look at all the challenges and just wonder if breaking free is a realistic goal.
And the answer? It's a resounding yes. It is absolutely possible. But here's the thing. It doesn't just happen by accident. You've got to have a clear strategy, a real roadmap that you can follow to get from where you are now to where you truly want to be.
Okay, so here's the game plan we're going to walk through. It's a 5-step plan. First, we'll define your actual goal. Then, we'll dive into how to save smarter, not harder. After that, we'll cover building your financial foundation and increasing your income. And then we'll wrap up with the big one, shifting your entire mindset about what money is actually for.
First things first, you can't hit a target you can't see, right? So step 1 is all about figuring out your freedom figure. This is the exact, specific number you need to live the life you want without ever having to worry about money again.
So how do we actually get to that number? Well, we use something called the Rule of 25. It sounds kind of technical, but it's actually a super simple and powerful formula. It tells you exactly how much you need invested so that you can pull out 4% of it every single year to live on, and in theory, never run out of money. To make this real, let's just build out an example of a pretty comfortable lifestyle. Let's say you want to live in a cool city, drive a nice car, take a few vacations a year, really enjoy life. Based on these numbers here, your ideal yearly budget would be around $75,000. Now, obviously, you can and should tweak these numbers to match your own dream life. So, you take that number, your ideal yearly expenses, and you just multiply it by 25, and bam, that gives you your freedom figure. In this case, just under $1.9 million. Now, I want you to think of this number as your golden goose. Once you've built the goose, you can live off the golden eggs it lays every year from investments, and you never have to touch the goose itself.
Okay, so knowing your number is one thing, but actually reaching it is a whole different ballgame. And that brings us to step 2, hacking your spending. And listen, this is not about being cheap or giving up your lattes. It's about making really smart choices that save you huge amounts of cash without actually hurting your quality of life.
Let's start with cars, because this is a big one. You scroll through social media and it looks like everyone's driving a brand new luxury car. The reality, a lot of those people are drowning in debt. The smart hack here is to buy a quality used car, one that's already taken that massive initial depreciation hit. You can often drive it for a few years and then sell it for pretty close to what you paid for it. All right, next up, brand hacking. Just look at this example. Brand name cereal versus the store brand. The quality? Basically identical, but you're saving over $2.50 for almost twice the amount of cereal. That tiny daily saving adds up to over $900 a year. It's these small, consistent wins that make a massive difference over time.
And it doesn't stop there. For housing, think about getting a duplex and renting out the other half. That rental income could literally pay your entire mortgage. For taxes, you have to use every legal deduction and tax-free account you can get your hands on. And for any big purchase, you gotta negotiate. Never, ever accept the first price. You'd be shocked how often just asking, "Is that your best price?" can save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars.
All right, so once you've hacked your spending, it's time to build a rock-solid foundation. This section actually combines 2 really critical steps: building up your financial reputation and then actively bringing more money in the door.
Let's just bust a huge myth right now. Credit cards are not evil. They're just tools. And when you use them responsibly, they are one of the best tools out there for building a great credit score. And that score is basically your financial reputation. A high score can save you thousands, maybe even tens of thousands in interest when you go to get a mortgage or a car loan down the road. Now this perfectly shows the problem with relying on just one income. It's like sitting on a stool with only one leg. What happens if that leg breaks? If you lose your job, the whole thing just comes crashing down. But by adding more streams of income, a side hustle, some investments, you're building a much more stable, a much more solid financial base for yourself.
And that brings us to the final step. And honestly, this might be the most important one of all. It's a fundamental shift in your mindset. It's about understanding what money is truly for. And this, right here, is what separates people who get free from those who don't.
You see, for most people, money is just, something to pay bills with, and maybe get a bigger loan for a nicer car or a bigger house. But for the wealthy, money has a totally different function: expansion. Money is a tool that you use to make more money. That's it. That is the core principle of creating wealth.
So what does an expansion portfolio actually look like in practice? Well, you put your money to work. A big chunk of it might go into something diversified and historically reliable, like an S&P 500 index fund. Then maybe another piece goes into real estate. And maybe, just maybe, you allocate a small, high-risk slice to something like crypto. The point is, your money is growing, even when you're sleeping.
And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? True financial freedom, that's the point where you are no longer just trading your time for money. It's when your money starts working for you, generating income passively and doing all the heavy lifting. That's the essence of expansion.
So there it is. The whole plan is laid out, step by step, from calculating your number all the way to changing your entire money mindset. You have the information now, but the action, that's on you. Your path to freedom starts with one single step. The only question is, what's yours going to be?